Hi, I'm Chandresa from English for Ladies, and in this video I'm going to look at the 10 most common mistakes English learners make. When I read your comments in my videos and I reply to your emails, and from years of checking my students' homework and things like that, I've noticed that these mistakes are repetitive. They show up again and again and again. And I know that by getting rid of them, you will take your English to the next level instantly. So today I'm going to point out which ones they are and have a look. Are you making them? And if you are, you don't have to feel bad about that. And it's not your fault that you're making them, because most of my students do, from beginner to advanced students. And the reasons for that vary. Sometimes it's because your grammar from your own language could somewhat make it more difficult for you to understand why it is this way, or perhaps they just became bad habits. You learn them the wrong way and then you keep making the same mistakes. Or perhaps you were never really explained properly how they should be. The first step of correcting them is actually realizing that you are making them. So today we're going to have a look at these mistakes that you may or may not be aware that you're making. And then I have some exciting news for you. There is a grammar challenge for you which you can participate in and make sure that you're getting rid of those common mistakes one by one. I will tell you more information about this challenge later on in this video. So, what are these 10 common mistakes that English learners make? At number 1, I put auxiliary verbs. What are they? Most of my students don't even know what they are. When they see the word auxiliary verb, they freak out. Well, they're not scary. They are these tiny little helpful verbs that help us make the correct tense in English. So what are the main auxiliary verbs in English? We have do, be, and have. And the good news is that their use is consistent. These don't change. But of course, there is more to it than just this, but I'll go deeper into that in our grammar challenge. Mistake number 2, uncountable nouns. Well, you probably know that there are countable and uncountable nouns in English. You use a or an for countable nouns, like a sandwich. I eat a sandwich for lunch. And you add s to make it plural. I eat sandwiches for lunch. Right? But the mistake happens when you face uncountable nouns, because sometimes you just don't know that these nouns are uncountable. So you end up mixing a countable article with uncountable noun. For example, advice and information, they are uncountable nouns. Therefore, they cannot take a countable noun article. And the best way to fix that is to say how much of that uncountable noun there is. For example, I need a little advice on this. So I'm not using an article, but I'm using quantifiers to say how much of it. I need a little advice on that. Or I need some information. So is this a mistake you make too? Because realizing your mistake is the first step of getting rid of them. And now let's have a look at mistake number 3. Mistake number 3 is subject and verb agreement. One of these examples is the third person in present simple. I walk to work. but she walks to work. So this is the kind of agreement that the verb and the subject are making, because there is a rule that says in the third person the verb needs an extra S. So you need to remember that and make that agreement, or that happens even with the verb to be. So when do we use which is totally dependent on the subject. So this is when the verb and the subject agreement is very important. And mistake number 4, most students' nightmare: irregular verbs. Why are they so different? Why are they so difficult? I call them rebel verbs because they don't like rules. Therefore, we just have to learn them. We have to learn them by heart. Okay? The best way to learn them is by heart. Just get that list of irregular verbs and read them and read them and read them again. Write them and listen to them. There are a lot of videos out there that you can use to just listen to them on the way to work, on the way back, as you're doing your housework, because there is no rule to help you understand why they take certain endings or why they change that way. But in our grammar challenge, I will share with you some tips on how you can make that just a little bit easier for yourself and learn your irregular verbs, because a lot of verbs we use daily are irregular. If I'm talking to you about my day, I would say something like, I woke up at 7 o'clock, I had breakfast, had a shower, and I got a coffee, I met my friends, I drove to work. And all these verbs that I mentioned, they are irregular. So it's very important that you learn them and get rid of this mistake to become a confident English speaker. Mistake number 5, articles. Most English learners headache. The, when, why. One rule to explain them is that we use a or an for indefinite nouns. The nouns that are general, right? But we use the for definite nouns. For example, can you pass me a book? And can you pass me the book? When I say, can you pass me a book, I'm not talking about a specific book. It's just a book, any book. All I want is a book. But when I say, can you pass me the book, I know exactly which book I'm talking about. I'm sure that you've come across these rules at some point in your life as you're learning English, but they're hard to remember. I mean, how do you master them? And the answer is practice, okay? Practice, practice, practice. At English for Ladies, we have a speaking program. English Everyday for Ladies is a speaking program where you can speak English every single day with me and other professional teachers about things that girls love. We talk about topics that we love and care about: family, fashion, children, cooking, you name it, we talk about it. And that is how we learn. And of course, we have grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary lessons, but we speak English every single day. And that's why our students get amazing results in as little as 1 month. You can find more information about that in the description of this video. I look forward to seeing you inside the lesson. Okay, back to our mistakes. Common mistake number 6. Prepositions. They are those tiny little words that confuse English learners. In, on, at, by, for, which one, when, why. Prepositions in English give us information on direction, location, and time. But which one do we use when, right? There are times that doesn't really matter. For example, my brother is in university and my brother is at university. It means pretty much the same thing. But I need to finish this project by Monday. Or I need to finish this project on Monday. The meaning has changed because by Monday is telling me that Monday is the latest day that I need to get it done by. But I could get it done earlier if I can, but I must get it done by Monday. But in the other sentence, I need to get it done on Monday. I can't get it done on Sunday or Saturday. Perhaps it's something that needs to happen on Monday, right? So you see, is a tiny little preposition that can change the meaning of the sentence. That's why they are important, and we will look more into them in our grammar challenge. Mistake number 7. One of the most important ones. Word order in questions. A lot of my students translate the questions from their language into English, and very often they look like this. You live here? You do like my dress? No. None of them is correct. And the great news is there is a structure for questions in English. And if you just stick to that, you will be perfectly fine. Let's have a look at it quickly today. Question word, auxiliary verb, subject, the main verb. So if you stick to this rule, you'll be perfectly fine. And your questions will look more like this. Do you like my dress? Do you work here? Did you call me? And of course, when it comes to questions, the right intonation is very important. Mistake number 8. Present perfect. Well, the structure of present perfect is not very difficult. We use have plus the verb in past participle. So easy to remember. I have been, I have seen, I have visited, and things like that. But what my students find confusing is the use of it to talk about the past. We use present perfect to talk about the past only when the present and the past are connected. Something has happened in the past, but it's still noticeable, visible in the present. For example, I have cut my hair. I cut it in the past, but it's visible now. You can still see it. Somebody will ask you, have you lost weight? Because they can see it now that you have lost the weight in the past. But we will go more into that in our challenge. And mistake number 9 is again to do with present perfect and difference between present perfect and past simple. We said that we use the present perfect to talk about the past, but what about past simple? And the main thing to remember here is that we use present perfect to talk about unfinished times. Today, this week, this month. None of them is finished yet. Today has a few more hours. This week has a few more days left. And we use past simple for completed, finished actions that belong in the past. They're done, completed. Last month, last week, last July, last night, yesterday, in 2005. Any of these expressions show activities that are done, completed. Nothing links them to the present, as in present perfect. The fact that today is not finished yet, it's still somehow linked to the present, to today, to now, right? So this is the main difference, but of course, practice makes perfect. And the last one for today is the use of ing and ed. So, boring or bored, interesting or interested, exciting or excited. Have a look at this. This film is boring. I'm bored. I'm bored because this film is boring. I'm interested because this film is interesting. But you are not boring, okay? And you certainly don't tell anybody you are boring. If you see somebody just doing this, they're bored. They're not boring. Okay? So this was mistake number 10, which of course we will have a look into more details in our challenge. So these were my 10 common mistakes that my students make repetitively, and of course by correcting them, you take your English to the next level instantly. I look forward to helping you in my challenge get rid of these mistakes for good. But to become part of my grammar challenge, you have to, number 1, subscribe our channel and give us a like, because we will see you again very soon with a different video that will help you take your English to that next level. Bye for now!